Look, it's Marko Zaror, the guy who was in the clip you just saw. It's the fist. It's the fist of the unicorn. No, it's not. It's the fist of the condor. It's the fist of everything. This is the amazing Marko. John Wick 4, all sorts of other stuff. Hey, Marko, wave to all the crowd that you've met 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We were cheering your clip from Fist of the Condor. Let's talk about Fist of the Condor. I mean, this looks like a labor of love.
Yeah. Well, this movie means a lot to me. This movie happens in the middle of quarantine, and I really thought that this was it. There was not going to be more movies. There was not going to be more industry, and I saw myself in an isolated town in the south of Chile called Pichilemu, and I was basically, like you said, writing my love letter to martial arts, to the all everybody that inspired me as a martial artist, and Ernesto actually as a filmmaker. So we were like we need to do this, and not knowing what was going to happen, where we're going to release it. We just shot it, and I gave all my notes to Ernesto about training, about nutrition, about philosophy. And then I was in these beautiful scenarios, and I was like, I need to show this to the world. Like, we need to do our story, our martial arts classic story, even if we don't have that in our culture, right? So that's how the Fist of the Condor came together, and I'm really happy with it. It means a lot, this movie, to me. You
That
know.
it meant a lot to me too. I mean, I thought that the reason you were playing twins was to pay homage to Jean-Claude Van Damme, who has played twins in more movies than any other action star.
Yeah, well, actually, he was big part of what I saw when I was a kid growing up. Bruce Lee, Van Damme, Jackie Chan. They were like the three. For me, it was always Bruce Lee. Was very, very strong to me. Because of Bruce Lee, it was hard for me to see other martial arts movies, right? Because he was so different, his energy and everything. It was like too much, too different, right? But then, of course, Jackie Chan, there are some movies that when I grew up, I was like, wow, I was able to start appreciating that. When I was a very, very kid, like very, very young, I was so obsessed with Bruce Lee that I couldn't even see another martial artist. It was crazy. But then, I remember the Armor of God of Jackie Chan. That movie, just I saw it a million times. I just it was amazing, his ability, his skills. So it's a big inspiration. And then, of course, Kickboxer Van Damme. With all when he appeared, it was a very big inspiration to see a non-Asian guy doing this martial arts stuff. So, of course.
Well, yeah, I tell you, this Fist of the Condor, you have so many different styles, so many different approaches to each of the fight scenes. I had a very hard time choosing the clip because I wanted to show. Well, basically, let's just everybody in the audience go to Haya and watch the whole movie, and you'll see all the different styles, all the different fight scene approaches. Now, did you do all the choreography?
Yeah, yes, it was. I always like to do the choreographies of my movies. In this movie in particular, it was a very big challenge because we needed to come with our own flavor. Like, we wanted to do a Latino or like Latin kung fu movie. And that's hard because it's like kung fu movie. We all there's a format. There's a way that we're already used to see these movies, right? The styles of fighting and all that. And I didn't want to copy that. I wanted to do my kung fu movie with my culture, with the actors, with the scenarios, with our music, and also throw my influence as martial artist, because of we receive information from many places of the world, and especially back then, where there was no YouTube, there was no internet. My only source of information was movies. I went to the video stores and rent the VHS, and looking out at these movies and training the moves and different styles and different movies, and that's how kind of that was my journey as a martial artist, trying different style with different masters. And so my journey as a martial artist has a lot of mix of a lot of things. So I needed to put that in this movie, and I needed to make a look with a lot of respect, like a love letter. I wanted to do this love letter to the classic martial arts, to feel classic movie, kung fu movie, but without doing what they do in martial arts, because I needed to stay very honest with my journey as a martial artist, someone that lives in a different place of the world, that receives all this information, all these different styles and influences, and creates his own journey. And for me, like the best example of this, I always explain this, is the wooden dummy, right? The wooden dummy is such a classic equipment for training. But because of my influence and my training, I did boxing, for example, and I did MMA, right? So that's why my wooden dummy looks different. So it's higher and has higher attacks. So it has open hands here, a central attack, and then two lower attacks. So the open hands, I'm allowed to use. I use the elbows like this, and this is a very effective, high block from MMA, from like a roundhouse kick, or like a hand overhand. You lift like this, and then you go to the tackle. So that is part of my real training. And then, but of course, is an homage. It's a reference and inspired by the wooden dummy that we saw in these classic movies all these years. So that's kind of like that was the spirit of this movie.
Well, it's just great to have you back again, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, give us your best story from John Wick 4. You were amazing in John Wick 4. I was amazed you were in it so much, and you were so great. Think of one really great, anything you can tell us about your experience on John Wick 4.
Yeah, well, the whole movie was crazy. Working with Chad and Keanu and see them work together. It was just, I was so grateful. I was so thankful to be there, because you see these two kids. Like my big takeout of that movie, it's seeing these two big kids having fun and with so much passion for the genre. Like, it's like they were fans, and they were doing this very. I felt very identified when I was doing my Fist of the Condor. Like, they really love what they do, and you can see that, and then the crew can sense that. So for me, it's like, and a best example was when I was doing my first interaction with Keanu in the runabouts, with the cars, when we have that little combo, like quick with hands, and then I grab him, I throw him to the van that is moving. I wanted to throw a little bit of combination with my rhythm, like break the timing and do some speed work with the hands. And it was hard for blocking and following that rhythm, right? But Keanu was so, like, he wanted to do it, and he wanted to try it. And then we started very slow, and little by little we start bringing up the speed. And then he was amazing to be able to catch the speed and catch the rhythm. And then he was all in every take, he was asking me for more contact and more contact. Like, I was building little by little, because that was the first time that I interact with him, and I didn't know how comfortable he was with feeling the real contact in the fight scenes, because there's actors and actors. There's some actors that they don't feel too comfortable feeling that adrenaline that's so real, right? But he was like, man, he was enjoying it so much. And then I realized, man, I was so blessed to be there working with such a team, with such a cast. And but I'm never gonna forget when I'm like, putting up the volume a little bit and see what happens. And then he was like, you could tune it up a little more. You can give me some more. Like, give me some more, give me some more. I'm like, okay, let's go,
But if something happens to him, there goes the movie. So you did the right thing.
Yeah, well, of course. Like that's, I think, as a martial arts, my whole life, I train how not to hurt someone. Like, I believe that the real control, when you develop real martial arts skills, you can use full speed, you can use everything, and then just know exactly how to hit without hurting someone, and that's very good for movies.
That's kung fu.
Yeah.
So you're busy now. I mean, what have you got coming up? I hear you and Scott Atkins are working on a project. What's going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. I think, stay tuned. I cannot say much, yet, but you guys gonna see me. You're gonna see me and Scott rematch soon. And I gotta tell you, man, he better be ready. If he's not training, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. So trust me.
Both of you guys have been guests at this Kung Fu Extravaganza before, and I can't wait to get you back. Well, I can wait. In fact, I'm waiting right now. But I'm looking forward to getting you back there, and then we can figure it out. Maybe we'll have another rematch on stage. We'll see.
Yes. He must be training, man. I'm telling you. Just send him a message. Like, get ready, man. I'm not gonna joke this time.
I'm going to pass on his message back to you.
Yeah.
In the meantime, keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Wave at the audience. Wave at the audience.
Thanks guys for your support, man. Much love, man. I'm ready. I'm training, and I promise I'm gonna keep, doing my best to make the best movies, man, for you. Really thank you guys.
Thank you, buddy.